please start the session. Thank you so much. In the meantime, there is a small kirtan which you used to sing. It's in the screen. You can just go through it. Jai Radha Madhav Kunj Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandan Braj Janaranjan Yamuna Tira Vanachari. It's a kirtan which now Sweta Mataji will sing.
Hare Krishna, very good morning to everyone. I'm really sorry I was a little late. So, just like I said yesterday, in order to, like for example, any kind of activities, we usually don't start the sports activity. First, we do some warm-up exercise. Similarly, today we are here to learn something, have a purpose behind this discussion. To imbibe that auspiciousness, to imbibe that kind of environment, we would like to pray. So let's sing this hymn, beautiful one. Now we have lyrics also in front of you, so it becomes easy for you to repeat with me. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jayo Radha
Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashoda Nandana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashoda
Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Gurudeva Jayo Gurudeva Jayo Gurudeva. So let's pray together. Everybody can close their eyes, and just like I said yesterday, without the mercy of our teachers, we will not get the grace or will not get the blessings to understand this beautiful transcendental knowledge. So let's begin together by just repeating this hymn or maybe meditating upon the Lord. Om Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. And since we know now that the author of our Bhagavad Gita as it is we say, let's go of Sri Jai Shri Prabhupada and begin with our session. Okay. Yesterday, we had discussions on many topics. So I would like to request at least Prerna Mataji to just help us out in recapitulating what we discussed yesterday. Just some points, that's it. Prerna Mataji is here. She could unmute herself and just
Hello?
Auntie.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us, Anji?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are absolutely audible.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. First of all, I wanted to really thank everyone for even considering me to be a part of this um, quiz yesterday. And it seems that I secured the third rank, and thank you for that. So I was not expecting any of those. I just wanted to do what I had learned a little. So I think I just could do a little a contribution to that. So yesterday, Sweta Mataji was very diligently helping us out to understand the essence of actually how we are and the essence of Bhagavad Gita and everything. So likewise, first we started with how valuable we are, how uh, how we should know the worth of ourselves, and then steadily we went towards knowing what we are pursuing for, and it was the happiness that we are pursuing for, which is to be divided into two sections. That one is the temporary, and the other one turning out to be the most permanent one. And there has been the discussion about the nourishment of our minds, and we even came across the so-called problem which everyone faces, but we do not address them properly. And likewise, we just talked about our evolution from how we started from ants to the way we started to be existing as a humans. Around 84 lakh entities are there, and the differences of what our intellect, our intelligence is from that of the animals that we have. And we had certain very important 5 questions that we talked about, like the questions being, one is who am I, the questions that we need to ponder upon, and another is who is God, the one we are looking forward for, the spiritual personality of Godhead. Then we talked about the temporariness, and we talked about the thing that we cannot go out of, that is time, the infinite time. And then we talked about karma, the questions being these, and the king of all the knowledge being Bhagavad Gita. So I think I just kind of summoned this all. So I think this is what I could understand till yesterday. So I think, yeah, thank you for what I could say right
Yeah.
now.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for making the new audiences well oriented with what we are talking. So, yes, we had a pause yesterday till that. So, yesterday we discussed immensely about the acute state of our problems that we are facing. And since yesterday we promised that we are intelligent beings, we are Viveki, and we're looking for answers and solutions. So, today our topic will be circling around this thing. So like yesterday we said that the Kali Yuga is full of falls, and that we have so many problems, and there is a solution to it, right? But we didn't go in depth of the solution today. Before we go to the solution, I have a question to everybody. Like, it's a question to think, not necessarily you need to answer. The question is, for example, in our daily activities we come across some problem. We come across many problems, right? Yesterday we discussed some problems are related to me, myself, some is related to others, adi bhautik, adi devik, adi adhyatmic. So there are many kind of problems we come across. Now, when we come across a problem, a Viveki individuals, like intelligent like us, like all of us here. So we also look for solution. So when we look for people around and we see, okay, whom to approach. That's one question that we see. Every solution, everything, we do some planning. Similarly, when we approach someone for help, we have to make sure that the person or the direction at which we are aiming for help, is it worth uh, going for, is it worth trying for? Like, for example, if you want 1 lakh rupees, and there are two options. One is you go to bank and you ask, or you go for a loan, and the other option is you go to a beggar and you ask. It would be a very stupid idea to opt for and to talk to a beggar and ask 1 lakh rupees, because you're never going to get. It will just be a waste of labor. But if you're smart enough, you go and you avail for the protocol that is facilitative for loan in the bank. It's a very simple example. Similarly, amid so many things now. Some of us, they're teachers, some of us are students, some of us are housemakers, some of us are businesswomen, businessmen, etc., etc. We have taken this biggest investment here. We have invested our time on this seminar, 7 day seminar on essence of Bhagavad Gita. We have invested time, which is one of the most expensive thing in today's world. So before we come to, since we are taking help for all our 5 major problems, which the Shastras claim to be the common problems for everybody. So before we are approaching to Bhagavad Gita, we must understand why we are approaching. Like I can give you one simple example. As a child, I used to speak a lot. I was always given an opportunity to public speaking in my school, very small school, but we used to do a lot. And so from class 3, I had been doing that. And you know, for so many long years, I did debate, I did this, I did that. But somehow I came to one. I still remember this day. It was a state level debate competition, and it was on a topic which was against my value system. And as a speaker, I should not be bothered about my value system. I should just speak for 10 seconds. It was against my thinking, but I couldn't speak, and I was blank in front of everybody. Now, these people made fun of me. And then there was a friend of mine who was also a co-speaker, has been studying with me since long time. He came and said to me, Shweta, what happened today? Why didn't you speak today? What made you stop? But spoken, it was such an easy topic. I said, you know what? Today, so many years of my speaking, but I realized today that I could not speak because the topic I was not convinced of. How could I speak? Well, I was young at that time. I didn't realize what those words were. I did say, but I didn't realize. But now, and now in this at this point of my life, I realized being convinced is such an important thing. When you're convinced of the fact, like a child is convinced of the fact that irrespective of whatever happens, my mother won't leave me. My mother will always protect me. So that convincing power gives rise to faith. And when we develop faith in something, what happens, it becomes easy for us to accept the instruction. It becomes easy for us to apply this instruction because the core of that acceptance of instruction lies with strong faith. Similarly, today, we will talk about various kind of acquisition of knowledge. If I ask you, we are coming here for knowledge, right? We already have so many knowledge. Some people are economic students, some people are science students, some people are art students, some people are students of many disciplines. So we all seeking for knowledge. So today also we will talk about this knowledge. And very important, this time we are asking major knowledge, that is how to pursue happiness in life. And we're asking to whom? We're trying to ask help from Bhagavad Gita. Let's come to a conclusion whether choice to ask or to make friendship with Bhagavad Gita is worth choice or not. So let's begin with our session. So I want the next slide to be played. Okay. So we are taking help from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, you may start up writing notes. You know, it's very easy and also a very simple way of remembering things. Because since yesterday we talked about the sloka, Kale dosha nide rajan. This Kali Yuga is full of faults. And nobody will deny this fact that we forget like anything. We remember so easily and we forget so easily as well. So for easy grasp and for easy reception, you can just make small notes in your copy. So Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. So now let us talk today. We will be talking about knowledge. Okay. And Bhagavad Gita is also a house of knowledge. But to prove this statement, let us understand more analytically and more logically. In the screen, you are seeing something. It's saying Gyan Praptika Tarika. In English, if I say the techniques or the types or the ways or the methods of acquisition of knowledge. How can we acquire knowledge? So now what is knowledge? Can anybody say what is knowledge? Anybody can voluntarily just unmute themselves and say, anybody. On a go of 1, 2, 3, anybody, what is knowledge? It need not be necessarily correct. Just share your view. Nisha, Mataji, is it possible for you to share? What do you think knowledge is? Yeah, actually, thank you so much, Nisha Mataji, but you have to unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, hello. Yeah, actually, knowledge for me is if you know anything, I guess that itself is a knowledge.
Okay.
Knowing anything.
Let's keep it simple. Thank you, Mataji. Knowing, to know, right? To know in the form of information. That is knowledge. Let's keep it very simple. So we see nowadays, in this time, knowledge is at the tip of our finger. We can learn so many things. Now, the best example now is of COVID. We studied when we were student in college. We studied this procedure of hand washing for so long. So many theories, so many mechanisms. Now, because of the COVID, everybody knows that hand hygiene is so important. So it's so easy. Knowledge is available here. Now people, they know, the non-medical people know more about medical terminologies than the medical people. So it is so widespread. Knowledge is very much available at the tip of our finger. We can learn what's happening across the globe just by sitting at our home. So accessibility has increased, but there should be a question in our head. Accessibility has increased. Knowledge is available here. Knowledge is available there. But what kind of knowledge it is? Is it reliable source? That we have to see. So we see, according to the book of wisdom, there are basically 3 ways via which we can acquire knowledge. You may note down, number 1 is known as pratyaksha, which means by seeing. Just like the famous quote goes, seeing is believing. So the first technique is pratyaksha. You may write evidence or pratyaksha. Number 2 is anuman, assumption, making prediction, assumption. And number 3 is words, by words. So we see there are 3 ways of acquisition of knowledge. So one is pratyaksha, second is anuman, and the third is shabda. Now I have a question for you all. Pratyaksha, this is one of the branches of medical sciences. Medical sciences backbone is based on pratyaksha and anuman. I can give you a nice example. We call nowadays evidence-based practices. Like, for example, if a person comes to a doctor and says, I'm having cough since last 2 weeks. The doctor, knowing that the patient has cough since last 2 weeks, but will not do any kind of intervention until and unless he confirms that this cough and the cause of the cough is known. Until and unless the cause of cough is known, he's not going to prescribe antibiotic. He's not going to prescribe anything. So it is evidence-based practice. You show your intervention with some kind of evidence. What does he do? He will prescribe, okay, go for cough test or sputum test. Go and check your cough. And as the cough test is done, they will see in the cells in the microbiology lab, they will see whether this particular sample of the patient has some bacteria or not, some mycobacterium, which causes some infection in the chest, specifically known as tuberculosis or TB, which is very common. For example, let's see, or some kind of bacteria is present or not. Until and unless that is not present, the doctor will not intervene. So they work as per pratyaksha. As they see, they believe, oh, yes, the bacteria is present in the sample, therefore, get this drug for this patient. So that is very much evidence-based practice. Science is based on that. And another is anuman. Anuman means assumption. Yet again, I'll give you one example. There is a branch of medical science which is known as psychiatry, mental health. Now, mental health, if you get the opportunity anytime, you can open any mental health book. And trust me when I say that. And they have all the treatment facilities. Okay, this patient should be treated like this. There are protocols for treating each of the patients. But if you read there is a word in medical terminology known as etiology, meaning what is the cause of disease. There you will see a line. Though this could be the cause, but the real cause is unknown. The real cause of mental health is unknown. Nobody knows. Even the great psychiatrists claiming, but they don't know. All their interventions, all their treatment is based on some kind of theory made by some kind of great personalities out of their mind. But actually, they write this statement. But the real cause is unknown. Nobody knows the real cause. So we see it's a very practical example that this material education, or that we see nowadays, the advanced scientific education, is based on two things. One, what they see, they believe. And the second thing is they speculate. They assume, okay, it could be because of this, it could be because of this. People are having depression because there are so many reasons. Like if you open a psychiatric book and if you see the factors, they're saying psychological factors, economical factors, psychogenic factors, and sometimes chemical factors. But they say a statement. It could be, and at the same time, they say that the real cause or the etiology is unknown or idiopathic, they say. Similarly, there is something known as Shabda. So Shabda will be dealt lately, but let us focus on the first and the second, Pratyaksha and Anuman. Now, okay, fine. It's okay. Evidence-based practices, it works. Anuman also is working. Psychiatry, the department is still working. So many places. Science is trial and error. People came with EC is equals to MC square with so many hypotheses. They came up with so many trials, with so many errors. They came accidentally. That was an accidental discovery because it was based on trial and error. But what is the problem? What is the problem with trial and error? I have a question for you all. Who amongst the audiences present here for this seminar thinks that they are perfect? Can anybody have a poll that they are perfect? Or anybody thinks that anybody is perfect here? Can I have a yes or a no?
No.
No, Mataji.
Why do you think?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji.
Okay. Why do you think we're not perfect?
Because Mataji, we did lots of mistake in our life.
Yes, absolutely. That's a really nice, nice point that you have said, Mataji. Thank you so much. Exactly. Everything is perfect. We have 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 beautiful eyes, 1 nose, 1 beautiful face. Everything is perfect in our creation. But still we are not perfect. Why? The book of wisdom says the imperfection in our creation. The creator is not imperfect, but somehow or the other, we are limited. So we have to understand, when a great brand ambassador said that, oh, limited piece. Yes, we are very much limited. Okay, and today we will understand the real meaning of this limitation. So now I want you to write a small heading or a subheading. Why are we imperfect? And this imperfection means there's some kind of defects. And the book of wisdom says, basically, just like we have 3 problems relating to our body, problems relating to someone. When someone is ill, you don't feel good. So that is also a problem or a pain. And the third pain is basically caused by natural calamities like COVID or flood, etc., etc. So this is a 3-fold miseries that we have to go, right? Yesterday we had a discussion about it. So today we need to understand that we are not perfect. Now we came up with a very broad statement. We are not perfect. Now to prove this, the Shastras, or we say the book of wisdom, has perfect take on it. So now we write, since a person who is not perfect has some defects. So they say that we have 4 limitations or 4 defects. So let us write in our copy 4 defects. What are they? Number 1, Sunita Mataji said. What is that? Somehow or the other, irrespective of how perfect we are, how obsessive we are, we end up committing mistakes. In Sanskrit, this is known as pramada. Okay, if the slides are just taken downwards, you'll get to see. We say that first thing, like Sunita Mataji said, that the first problem with us is that we commit mistake. We somehow or the other commit mistake. The second thing is that you will personally even realize, you need not share because it's very intimate to share this thing, but we cheat people. Cheating does not necessarily mean taking someone's money or doing something, but cheating means, I can explain you with simple things. There is a word known as integrity. Can anybody explain me what integrity is? Anybody knows the word integrity, or anybody could just say what integrity means if anybody knows, or they could search in the internet and let me know fast as soon as possible. Anybody could say what integrity means?
Yeah, it means doing the right thing even when no one is watching.
Or a quality of being honest.
Yes, thank you so much, Manji, for actually contributing. Absolutely, it's a quality of being honest. And another aspect is that it's a quality of being honest in absence of anybody. You know, even if there is nobody, you would love to stick to your priorities, to your value system. But unfortunately, it's not possible. For example, very simple example. I say I'm on diet. I am keto diet. Or you're on diet, you're reducing your carb intake. But as soon as carb is in front, oh, that oath is gone. So we have the propensity to cheat. It's not necessarily a big thing, but still we have this propensity. We cannot but be compelled. We are compelled to act in that manner. So the first limitation is what? We commit mistakes. Though we don't want to hurt anybody, but sometimes we end up hurting. Though we know that that is wrong, but sometimes we end up doing that.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah,
Has the line got muted?
yeah.
Is it
Actually,
disconnected?
she got disconnected.
Oh, okay.
She will join again.
Okay. I was just wondering, I was waiting for it. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, just wait for some minutes. She will join again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone. So just wait for some minute. I don't know what the issue she is having. Maybe some network issue, as you all know today nowadays, network problem. So she is also having. So just bear for us. Bear with us for some minutes. Alex in Porkino, so will join. And I just want to know that, yeah, Prerna, can I know your registered name? Because in the registration list, we didn't have the name Prerna. Prerna, are you there? प्रेरणा सुन्दै हुनुहुन्छ हजुर? Yeah, I just want to know your registered name, Prerna, because as you won the prize, because we didn't have this Prerna name in the registration list. Prerna Sevak. Okay. So you had registered for this session? Seva. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to know that. Thank you so much. And today also we will have quiz as soon as the session will end. So quickly, just listen to the session very carefully and then quickly go through the quiz. The first, second, third, whoever will answer, we will give the prize accordingly. The quiz will be very simple. Yeah, I got it. Seva, we have that register name. Actually, what happens that some of you, your register name and the name which you are logging into the Zoom is not same. So we are not able to connect you for further. So I just request if the name is different, the name which you register, जुन नामबाट हजुरले register गर्नुभएको थियो और जो नामबाट हजुरले Zoom session मा आइराख्नु भएको छ, अगर त्यो नाम अलग छ भने, different छ भने, please message मा लेखिदिनु कि म यो नामले join गरेको छु, but म register यो नामले गरेको थिएँ. Just like यहाँ एकजना निशा भन्ने हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँको नाम पनि ग्रुपमा छैन, एसेन्स अफ भगवत गीता ग्रुपमा छैन. सो अगर उहाँले नि भन्न सक्नुहुन्छ उहाँको नाम के थियो, जुन नामले उहाँले रेजिस्टर गर्नुभयो, द्याट्स वाइ हामीलाई अलिक प्रब्लम हुन्छ इफ हामीलाई सर्टिफिकेट्सहरू दिनुमा, किनकि यो सेसनको एन्डमा हामी सर्टिफिकेट दिन्छौँ. सो त्यहीबाट अगर रेजिस्टर्ड नाम छ भने हामीसित त्यो लिस्ट छ, रेजिस्ट्रेसनको लिस्ट छ. तर अगर हजुरले अर्कै नामले रेजिस्टर गर्नुभएको छ भने हामीले एटेन्डेन्स दिनुमा साह्रो पर्छ. So I hope you will all cooperate.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Nisha.
Yeah, I think I'm registered in the name of Nisha only.
Okay.
Because
Your
I just
number?
97340.
Personally message me your number, not in the Zoom. You can personally message me, Bina Keshav
Okay,
Sharma.
sure. Okay.
I can just check it. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Okay.
So we are really sorry. I think Shweta Mataji is having some major issue of the network because she is not here actually. She is giving the class. She is managing so much because for us. So I just request all of you to bear for some minutes, or in the meanwhile, if you want to ask any question, you can ask. If any topic is not clear, you can ask. And अगर हजुर सबैजनासित भगवत गीता छ भने बहुत राम्रो कुरा हो. तर अगर हजुरहरूसित भगवत गीता छैन भने हजुरले मलाई पर्सनल मेसेज गर्नु सक्नुहुन्छ या फेरि ग्रुपमा मेसेज गर्नु सक्नुहुन्छ कि मसित भगवत गीता छैन. हजुरलाई कुन ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा चाहिन्छ अगर हजुरले भनिदिनु भयो भने हामीले हजुरलाई ट्राई गर्छौँ कोरियर गरेर घर तक पुगाइदिनु पनि. तर प्लिज एड्रेस प्रपर एड्रेस दिनु होला. हामीसित नेपाली, इङ्ग्लिस, हिन्दी, बेङ्गोली सब ल्याङ्ग्वेजेसमा छ भगवत गीता एज इट इज. सो अगर हजुरसित भगवत गीता छैन भने हजुरले मेसेज गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ जुममा, नभए हाम्रो ग्रुप छ जो एसेन्स अफ भगवत गीता ग्रुप, त्यसमा पनि मेसेज गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. Thank you so much. So I request Asha Mataji. Asha Mataji, are you there?
Hazur Mataji, Hare Krishna.
So meanwhile, Sangita Mataji is having some problem. So हजुरले के share गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ आफ्नो realization? हजुर भगवत गीता पढिसक्नु भएको छ and हजुर भागवतम पढ्दै हुनुहुन्छ. त हजुर आफ्नो realization हजुरलाई भगवत गीता पढेर कस्तो लाग्यो? जसले गर्दा हाम्रो पार्टिसिपेन्टहरु इन्स्पायर हुन्छन् भगवत गीता पढ्नको लागि. You can share some experience of yours.
Hazur Mataji.
हजुर
Hare Krishna everyone. हजुर भगवत गीता पढ्नु चाहिँ एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ हामीले एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ फेरि हामीले
मैले रिक्वेस्ट गर्न चाहन्छु अरु पार्टिसिपेन्टहरुलाई म्युट गर्नुस् प्लिज हजुरले बिकज द साउन्ड इको भइरहेको छ. या थ्यांक यू सो मच. यस आशा माताजी यु क्यान कन्टिन्यू.
हजुर हरे कृष्ण. हामीले यो भगवत गीता किताब पढ्नु चाहिँ एकदमै जरुरी छ जो चाहिँ कृष्ण भगवान स्वयं कृष्ण भगवानले अर्जुनलाई इन्स्ट्रक्सन दिनुभएको सबै यसमा छ हैन. यो चाहिँ पढ्नु एकदमै जरुरी छ. अन्त हामी सबै आफ्नो आफ्नो लाइफमा यति साह्रो बिजी अब अरु कामहरुले हामीलाई घेरिरहेकै हुन्छ हैन एभ्री टाइम हैन. अन्त हामीले बुक त अब किनिसकेको छ भने पनि अब भोलि पढ्छु भनेरै त्यो पोस्टपोन गरिबस्छ हैन. हामी सबैजनाले त्यस्तै हुँदा छ फर्स्टमा चाहिँ. तर अन्त वन्स त्यो पोस्टपोन गर्नु चाहिँ हुँदैन रहेछ. त्यो टाइम अब भोलि पढ्छु भोलि सुरु गर्छु यस्तो गर्छु भनेर हैन. अन्त हामीले वन्स अब सब स्टार्ट गर्न थालेपछि पनि इभन मिनिमम 15 मिनेट्स मिनिमम 10 मिनेट्स मिनिमम हाफ एन आवर भए पनि वन्स अ डे चाहिँ हामीले असाइड राख्नै पर्ने छ पढ्नुको लागि हुन्छ नि. यो बुक्स पढ्नु स्पिरिचुअल बुक्स भगवत गीता पढ्नु लागि. किनभने अब हाम्रो वान डे पनि हामीले स्किप गर्यौं भने नि त्यो स्किप एभ्री डे त्यो स्किप भएकै हुँदछ. होस् आज भएन भोलि आज पनि होस् अल्छी लाग्यो यस्तो भोलि हो यस्तो स्किप उयो हुँदै गर्दा रहेछ हैन एभ्री डे. अन्त त्यसै कारण चाहिँ त्यो ह्याबिट चाहिँ उयो गर्नु जरुरी रहेछ. किनभने त्यो पोस्टपोन गरेकै भयो भने त्यो तन्केकै हुँदो रहेछ. त्यो हुन्छ नि भोलि पढ्छु त्यसै कारण चाहिँ 15 मिनेट्स 10 मिनेट्स भए पनि हामीले दिनमा दिनै राख्नै पर्छ असाइड हुन्छ नि के पढ्नुको लागि चाहिँ मिनिमम यस्तो पाराले. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you so much Asha Mataji for sharing your realization. So I asked some of the participants हजुरहरूले जसले पनि भगवत गीता पढ्नु भएको छ भगवत गीता एज इट इज 700 श्लोकास कन्टेन गरेको छ भगवत गीताले. तो आफ्नो अनम्युट गरेर आफूलाई अनि शेयर गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ जसले पढ्नु भएको छ भगवत गीता अगाडि नै. तर हजुरलाई बुझ्नुमा साह्रो पर्यो या फेरि श्लोकास पढ्नुमा साह्रो पर्यो. इफ हजुर कोही पनि हुनुहुन्छ जसलाई शेयर गर्न छ हजुर शेयर गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. Yes, Sangita. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are on.
मैले भागवत गीता बुक से पढ्छु.
हजुर.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you are audible.
मैले भागवत गीता बुक से पढेको छुइनँ मैले. तर मलाई अब जान्ने इच्छा चाहिँ पुरा छ, इन्ट्रेस्ट चाहिँ पुरा छ. त्यसै कारण म यसरी युट्युबमा खोजेरै हुन्छ नि जसले ट्रान्सलेट गरेको हुन्छ श्लोकाहरू. किनभने हामीलाई अब ल्याङ्ग्वेजको प्रब्लमले गर्दा हामी डाइरेक्ट श्लोक पढेर चाहिँ बुझ्दैनौँ. त्यो इन्ट्रेस्ट भएकोले गर्दाखेरि श्लोकहरू पढेर चाहिँ म बुझ्ने गर्छु. अन्त मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब लाइफको लेसन हुन्छ नि. अब जुनै फेजमा अब एज अ ह्युमन बिङ बर्थ भइसकेपछि अब एउटा डिफ्रेन्ट फेज आउँछ लाइफको. अनि जुनै श्लोका पढे पनि मैले केही न केही चाहिँ अब एउटा ज्ञान चाहिँ पाएकै हुन्छु जस्तो लाग्छ अब हुन्छ नि. त्यसै कारण म अस्तिको लकडाउनमा महाभारत पनि पुरा हेर्थेँ जुन टिभीमा आउँथ्यो अनि म चाहिँ के अरे त्यो एउटा ड्रामा जस्तो गरेर होइन तर एउटा लाइफ लेसन जस्तो गरेर लिन्थेँ त्यसै कारण इन्ट्रेस्ट चाहिँ मलाई त्यहाँबाट जागेको हो तर अब बुक्स पढ्दाखेरि चाहिँ सायदै अझै मजाले बुझ्छु होला तर मेरोमा अहिले बुक्स चाहिँ छैन एभाइलेबल अन्त अर्को प्रब्लम चाहिँ जुन चाहिँ बुक्समा चाहिँ श्लोक लेखेर ट्रान्सलेट पनि गरेको हुन्छ नि हो त्यो चाहिँ सायद सजिलो हुन्छ होला किनभने हामी डाइरेक्ट अब नेपाली हिन्दीमै श्लोक छ भने पनि त्यो अब प्रोनाउन्सिएसन पनि गर्न हामीलाई साह्रो बुझ्दैनौँ पनि जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
Okay. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Thank you so much. Yes, Sweta Mataji is back here. So yes, Mataji, you are audible.
Okay. I'm really
We all are
sorry.
eagerly waiting for you. No, it's fine, Mataji. We can understand.
So where were we? Can anybody help me out?
Yeah, the 4 type of.
We were talking about the 4 type of defects. We commit mistakes. We cheat people. We were there in we cheat people.
Thank you so much for your contribution. So we were saying that since we are not perfect, but why are we not perfect? Because we have certain defects. So the book of wisdom, they say that we commit mistake even if we don't want to, but we end up committing mistake. And along with that, even if we don't want to cheat anybody, who wants to become a cheater, right? But somehow we have that propensity within ourselves that we end up cheating someone or the other. And the third thing, very important, that we will be discussing in the next slide. If the slides could be moved, that would be good. We will be talking about very important thing. Now you see in the picture, what are those things? Eyes, ear, taste, tongue have been there. So this is the 5 senses, right? So here we talk about our senses. When we were discussing about Praman and when we were talking about Anuman, which means the acquisition of knowledge with the help of some kind of evidence, some kind of seeing, and at the same time, some assumptions. So this seeing is done by our senses. Now, we see the senses are not, we cannot say that the senses are wrong. We cannot say that the senses are false, but we can always say that the senses are limited. Now, if you read that clearly, I will repeat what it has been written. Our eyes, if we see, our eyes can see, absolutely. Blue is blue, red is red. But eyes can see at how much? There is a limit to it. Similarly, our ears can hear, but there is also a limitation to it. So we come to a conclusion that whatever we hear, whatever we learn from the senses, even the senses are not perfect. Now, how to understand this imperfection of the senses, we will see in the next slides. We will see in the next slides. Can the slides be played? Yes. In the next slides, we see what is this. Can anybody say what is this? What's happening to their, what's happening to the page, or what are you feeling watching that page? Can anybody contribute?
It moves as we concentrate. It's kind of hypnotizing, and it moves by itself.
Thank you so much. Now we see, actually this thing is not moving, but it appears it is moving. So the book of wisdom says, not only do we have the propensity to make mistake, not do we have the propensity to cheat others. Not is our senses limited only, but we also believe in things which is not. Like now we believe, oh, this thing is moving, but actually this is not moving. So in Shastras, this is known as, we get illusion. You know, this is an illusion. Illusion has been created. Actually, the circles are not moving, but it appears like it is moving. So we see the 4 limitation of being a human, or 4 defects that we have, that basically clarifies the statement that we are not perfect being. And what are we doing in our life? We are depending upon this imperfect person for this perfect knowledge to give to us. right? Is it or not? Like we study in material education, we do this material education, we are studying science, and we are blindly trusting them. But the book of wisdom is stand that you're trusting is based on some human being. And since it is based on some human beings, and this human being has some limitation. So now that gives us an introduction to the next topic of sabda or words. But before that, we can see further how much we are illusion. Like there's some physical tasks that we can do to our eyes. See, now there's a picture of a girl there, but sometimes with illusion, there are more than one pictures that can be depicted. In the another picture, if we move the slides to another slide as well, we see not just one picture, but there are more than. Now you see some man playing a guitar and the other man on the other side, and there's old lady and an old man. So many pictures in one picture. Oh, we are illusioned badly. There is no clarity of thought in the picture. Similarly, we see there. So this is our limitation, which the book of wisdom is easily being able to depict. And if we see, now there is a big thing. Now someone might question, no. That doesn't mean that the material education is completely to be eradicated. No, we don't need material education. We realize that it's bekar. But no, it's not bekar. It's just that it is not complete. Like the word there, apurna hai, which means it is not complete. There are certain things which have been benefited by material education. If you were not able to know A for apple, maybe probably would not have been able to study a word. But it is not complete. Like the best example to understand this is a baby is born, and maybe there are some mothers. I would like to ask some mother here. Maybe I know Asha Mataji, she is a mother, so I can ask to her. She can unmute herself and we can talk. Asha Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, since you are a mother, and I know you as a mother, maybe there are more mothers here. Since you are a mother of a child, so when your baby was born, what did you feed your baby with?
Clear bhaina Mataji.
What did you feed your baby with when your baby was born? Asha Mataji, सुन्नु हुँदैछ?
Clearly सुनेन Mataji.
अब सुन्नुभयो?
भन्नुस् त हजुर.
मैले भनेको तपाई त आमा हुनुहुन्छ नि, जब तपाईको नानीले जन्म दिनु भयो थियो, त्यसपछि उहाँलाई तपाईले के खिलाउनु भयो?
हजुर. मिल्क हजुर. Breast feeding हजुर. हजुर.
So a baby is born, and when a baby is born, the doctor says that you need not give her anything, just give her exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months भनेर भने नि, अनि त्यति दूधले नै उसको हरेक नीडलाई पुरा हुन्छ. Similarly, उसको नीड पुरा त हुन्छ, तर after 6 months what? An intelligent mother will ask, okay, after 6 months what to give? Then they say that after 6 months we'll introduce something. त्यसलाई चाहिँ के भन्छ? Supplementary food भन्छ. मतलब दूधको साथसाथमा अब needs बढ्दै गयो बच्चाको, त्यही भएर हामीले supplementary खाना दिन्छौँ in the form of mashed potatoes, in the form of rice, in the form of many things, grains हामीले add गर्छौँ है. Similarly, when we are talking about imperfection of the knowledge that is based on some human's perspective, we don't say eradicate completely, but we say that since it is incomplete, and an intelligent person will think how to complete that. So हामी completion को बारेमा चाहिँ next step मा पर्छौँ. So now we see in the slides, in the coming slides, one more very interesting anuman. जुन चाहिँ हामीले अनुमान अघि हामीले compare गरेको थियौं, यहाँ very interesting justification छ that how anuman is dangerous भनेर. Can anybody contribute what they see from this picture? कसैले भन्नु सक्छ त्यहाँ देखेर के बुझ्नुहुन्छ?
Different people have different perception.
Okay, different people have different perception. Okay, but if you closely
perception about the elephant, like what are they going to do if they get the elephant, and some of them, they want to keep the elephant in a safe place. Some of them, they want to make him as a slave. So I think that's what it's trying to say.
Oh, thank you so much for your contribution, Mataji. But if you actually closely, if you see the person who's holding elephant, different persons holding elephant, first of all, they are blind. If you see closely, they're blind, their lids are off. And secondly, if you see closely, what can we expect from a blind person? A blind person is holding elephant's tail and assuming, oh, that is a rope. And there you see another person there who's holding the lateral leg or the lateral foot of the elephant and is assuming, I'm actually holding or I'm hugging the trunk of a tree. And the middle person is thinking, oh, that's a wall, because he's blind. And the other person if you see here, the person who's holding the trunk of the elephant is thinking, oh, it's a snake. And there's this person who's up there holding the ears of the elephant and thinking it's an axe. So sad. But what can we expect from a person who's blind, who does not have the chakshu? We can say in Sanskrit, chakshu means vision. A blind person is expected to act like this. Similarly, a person whose knowledge is based on Anuman, like the science today is based on trial and error. Of course, we cannot deny the fact that science have had its advantage in our life in many aspects. But at the same time, just like we say, breastfeeding was the need of the hour for the child for 6 months. But from then on, as the needs were increased, more needs were there. Necessity is the mother of invention. So similarly, supplementary food came into being. So similarly, we see that there is limitation, not just of us. If human beings are not perfect, how can we expect the knowledge coming from human beings to be perfect? If anybody believes, then that person is the fool number one. So we have come to a conclusion that basically we have 4 kinds of defects. And because we have 4 kinds of defects, the knowledge that we get out of this defective person is also defective and is not complete. So now what to do? Just like we said in the first day of our seminar, who is an intelligent person? Intelligent person is not the one who just thinks that, oh my God, I have so many problems now. Let me just give up. No, an intelligent person, like our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada said, who is the best person to read Bhagavad Gita? Is that person who asks questions. What next now? Now we know the problem. What next? Now we know the limitation of this material education. Now what next? How to solve this problem? How to complete our knowledge? So for that, let's step forward to our next Shabdagyan. That's Shabdagyan. What is Shabdagyan now? Words. Why are words more important than anything else? So now we put our entry and now we talk about Gita Upanishad, Atava Bhagavad Gita. Why is Bhagavad Gita to be discussed now? Is because Bhagavad Gita is basically the words of the Supreme Lord. Now we see it. Now there should be a question in our head. We are imperfect. Doesn't mean that the Supreme Lord who created us is imperfect. Now we have to, just like people are assuming, now we have to theoretically accept and assume that the Supreme Lord is perfect. Of course, we don't need to, because he is supreme and he is perfect. But for this time, because we will be talking about his perfection, how and why he's perfect in later discussions. But for now, we keep the statement that God is perfect. And so are his words. If you happen to read in coming days, you'll get the opportunity to have a personal copy of Bhagavad Gita. And in the introduction, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada writes very clearly that the words which are spoken by the Lord are aporishya, which means that they are different from the words spoken from people like us who have 4 kinds of defects. Now we are aware of 4 kinds of defects. So we totally accept that the word spoken by the Supreme Creator is complete and is perfect. Now, this is the statement just I'm saying. Now, you may not believe, an intelligent person will not believe, because what our foundation of education is based on Praman, is based on seeing is believing. There should be some Praman to prove that God's word is perfect. So that also we'll be discussing in coming slides. But right now, we come to a general assumption, or we can say a general statement, that the word spoken by God is perfect, unlike the words spoken by people like us who are not perfect and who are filled with 4 defects. Now, Krishna, he himself says, Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya, that the words in the Bhagavad Gita have been spoken by me. And there are basically 700 dialogues which have been spoken in Bhagavad Gita. And out of which, if we see clearly, there are 574 exact words spoken by the Lord, of which we will be discussing in detail in coming sessions. So now we understand. Now we have to say that, okay, Shabda Gyan. Now can we move on to the next slide? Yeah. There's a very interesting question. Srila Prabhupada writes, in many books, he explains and he emphasizes on this question. Our child is asking, and this is the need nowadays, because there are so many children being born, a mother forgets which father the child has been born from. So in that circumstances, Srila Prabhupada is writing, okay, the child is asking, who is my mother? Who is my mother? Now, an intelligent child will do what? Will straightly ask to the mother. But a person who wants unnecessary suffering and a person who calls himself way too smart is going to do one thing. Is going to go to a genetic engineer and say that, please go and check all the genes and try to figure out who's my father is. But if you see, an intelligent person is one who straightly goes and asks to the mother. Similarly, if we compare this situation with our life, what are we doing? So many people are researching on the immortality of human beings. They want human beings to be immortal. So many scientists, they're trying to find life in Mars. They're unnecessarily looking for all of these answers, which have already been said, which have already been clearly mentioned, cited in the Book of Wisdoms. So what we are going to do is, we are not going to waste time on this. And if you see the next slide, we will see the persons who are wasting time over this. Like, see here, if you read out, you'll be able to see that this fellow, this small boy, wants to know about his father, and he's telling the genetic engineering to do the DNA matching. How many years is it going to take for a person to search for his father by DNA matching? When he can simply ask to his mother, who's my father? The mother will definitely tell. So the problem is solved. Similarly, what are we doing? We are unnecessarily doing research, which have already been cited, which have already been expressed in written form, in the form of great Book of Wisdoms. So if you read here, that all these problems that we're facing, the 5 questions for which we are actually seeking out of Bhagavad Gita, will be answered in Bhagavad Gita. But just like I said, as a speaker in the past, I was not convinced of the idea, so I couldn't speak. Similarly, why are we exaggerating today about acquisition of knowledge? Why this knowledge from the Book of Wisdom is more reliable? When we are convinced of this idea, it becomes easy for us to practice the instruction written in the book, at the same time share to other people. That's why we're discussing this. Can we proceed to the next slide? So here we see that Vedas, or the Vedic knowledge, Book of Wisdom, will help us to solve all the problems. Maybe we are just saying that the 5 questions will be solved. But if we see, there are big books of wisdom like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. These are the 2 important guidebooks for this Kali Yuga. For this Kali Yuga, there are 2 important books. So we will get all the answers to all our problems with the help of this book. If you see in the next slide, it is saying a very important point here. Right now, we know, we have come to a conclusion that we have 4 kinds of defects. We have come to a conclusion, since the defective person is teaching us something, definitely the knowledge that we are getting is not complete. Has some kind of fault in there, has some kind of void or emptiness which has to be completed. Now, if you compare yourself, now the word here is known as aparivartaniya. Now, here's a very important debate, or a point which has been raised by the students of the Vedic Sastras. The Vedic Sastras are saying, unlike the modern education, we and the knowledge that the Vedic Sastras are giving, the Book of Wisdom like Bhagavad Gita and others are giving, can be applied in any time, at any place, to any circumstances. Now let us, because we are students from Pratyaksha department, right? So that's why we have to prove this point. So for that, now we will see, please, okay. So now we will see Now, from science background, since I belong and many people also belong, gobar athava cow dung have been used of the Vedic life of the people who are actually living in Vedic culture. They've been using gobar since long time, but only after so many centuries did this scientist did so many research to come to a conclusion that this cow dung, shit of an organism, shit of an animal, is actually full of antibacterial and antiseptic properties. So nowadays, it is basically being purchased by people. You know, cow cakes have been made, and you can even see in Amazon, in various shopping sites, you get to buy this cow dung, which were regardless as smelly and bad. And this was already proclaimed by the Shastras long time. And that time and this time, still it's applicable. Second, bhugol hai, which means the earth is round or elliptical. Someone had to go across the globe to prove that. Oh, it was already written in the Shastras. Already it has been cited. Need not waste unnecessary time going across the globe to figure out that it is round. Now the third, that the trees, they also live, that they also have consciousness. Yesterday only we studied that out of 84 lakh of species, each of them, kan mein Bhagwan hai. Prahlad Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord, great personality in history. He himself said to his father, you know, that in every atom, that supreme consciousness is there. Supreme consciousness is present there. And the Supreme Lord proved his words, came out of pillar and showed him, hey, I'm there. So that we will be talking in coming days. So it was already proven it was proven long back, but we had to prove, we had to do so many experiments just to prove that, okay, even trees, they have consciousness, even they grow with music therapy, so many things, so many researches which were actually accidentally proven, which was actually a fact already stated by the Shastras, already stated by the great book of wisdom. Similarly, with embryology. Embryology now is one of the major subjects in medical science under obstetrics. But it was a known thing. It is explicitly expressed, explicitly explained in depth, in detail in Bhagavatam, in Canto 3. Embryology has been expressed completely. We don't need to go for some practical understanding of it. It is in depth, how many cells divide, how is it done, in what day, in what time there is growth of which organ, everything has been explained. So if we see, every evidences have been given. So it outshines, the Vedic knowledge outshines the material knowledge. So on the next slide, we see, this is a very, very important point. There is the science and the scientists of today and the material education based on Praman and based on Anuman is trying to conclude that, there will be something, right? Or, this is because of this. Like now they're trying to come to a conclusion why corona is. So they're doing a lot of research. Every person is looking for an answer to what is corona, why corona is happening. This is going on. But the Shastras and the book of wisdom, they just did not give an explanation to what is going to happen. They even said that who's going to be born, at what place, at what time, what's going to happen, when is this world going to get annihilated, is going to get destroyed, how is it going to be, in which steps, every detailing has been given. No, the modern science does after things have happened. Like the COVID already happened. Now they are not even able to know what is the cause of COVID, and they're not even able to treat COVID. On the contrary, they said that this is just a beginning. This is Kali Yuga. Already said in the sloka yesterday, Kale doshe nide rajan asti hui eko mahaguna. It's already been said that this place is full of falls. This is just a beginning. Corona is just a beginning. Had been said before, long time back. Like if you see, here are 3 pictures of great personalities. Lord Buddha, before he adventured in this earth, before he was born, he was predicted that he would be born. And not just born, his name, his place of birth was predicted, that he would be born in Gaya, his mother would be Anjana Putra. So that was already predicted long before he came into being. That much advanced. Now we talk about advanced science, but how much advanced the Vedic knowledge is. At the same time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, great incarnation of the Lord himself. There's no difference between Lord Krishna and him. We will be talking about him, learning about him, knowing about him in coming days. So he was also predicted as to which family he would be born. And another very big climax of our story is when you see the middle picture, that is Bhagavan Kali, the incarnation of this Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga. There are many yugas out of which the deity of this yuga, or we can say the Supreme Lord, is coming in the form of Kali Yuga, will come in the form of Kali Yuga. If you happen to get the opportunity to open Bhagavad Gita, Canto 1, and if you open chapter 3, and if you open text number 25, there you will see it is clearly written when, where, in which village, and the name of the father from which the Lord, Supreme Lord, will come. And at which place will it come? That has also been redone. Then the sloka says, Atasau Yuga Sandhyayam Dashu Prayoshu Rajasu Janita Vishnu Yasasu Namna Kalki Jagatpati. Thereafter, at the conjunction of the two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take birth as the Kalki incarnation and become the son of Brahmana Vishnu Yasha at what? At Sambala village. It's a village nearby to Kolkata. So it has already been predicted. Can you even imagine the gravity of how much advanced the Vedic knowledge is? And that's why it is said that the Vedic knowledge is complete, unlike the others. And this is the authority why am I exaggerating on this topic is that when we are convinced of the choice that we have made in life, it becomes easy to do all the endeavor. We can endeavor so easily. When I was convinced that yes, indeed, this book like Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is a real book to be referred for. Like if you see in the next slide, next slide, there's a very simple example. Just like it's the best idea to ask a mother who's my father. That would be the most authoritative. Similarly, there is an example of directory. So if we see, each of us have been good. Each of us have been, maybe you can mute yourself. Each of us have been built, have been created. Out of the 84 lakh species, all have been created. Similarly, we can compare this creation to a mobile factory. So many mobile copies, same copies being remade. But for each of the copies, a manual is prescribed. A manual is given to you. When you buy a set of phone, usually a manual is given to you. So this manual represents Bhagavad Gita, manual of life. This manual of life basically helps us to make right decisions, to make right choices, to make so many things. It can be applied in so many aspects. The Vedic knowledge is not just about soul, not just about what happens after death. It is also about how are we supposed to live until we have this life. So if you see in the next slide, we can have the next slides. Yeah. Here we see the book of wisdom. The Vedic knowledge is full of topics like music, dance. What do you want to know? Every aspect, that every material topics that we are very much interested is equally in more depth and in more logic that can prescribe in the Vedic knowledge of Vedic Shastras. In the next slide. And we see that there are many sastras, or when we say many Vedic knowledge, Vedic books also. Now let us understand this Vedic books, how the division is made. So we have in the next slide. Yes, this is the tree of Vedic knowledge. Now we see. Now we have to just simply understand two things. Okay, just like any knowledge has branch. Like in engineering also, there are so many branches: aeronautical, chemical, mechanical, electrical, so on, computer, etc., etc. Similarly, the Vedic knowledge is also divided into two. You may just note down two. The first is known as Shruti, S-R-U-T-I, Shruti. And second is known as Smriti, S-M-R-I-T-I. So we see Shruti, the literal meaning of Shruti meaning hearing, literally meaning the exact words. If we have to understand Shruti, we can say it's a collection of quotations. Like, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, we hear Lord Krishna said, at last, he said to Arjuna, Sarva dharmam parityagam mamekam sharanam rajaha aham tvam sarva. He said, so this is the exact words of Lord. So this is Shruti, the exact word as it is, without any change, without any subtraction, addition, manipulation. That is Shruti, what we hear exactly. There was a time where Munis and all, they heard directly from the Lord himself, or from the personified Lord. So they hear from them. So that is Shruti. Now Smriti, just like we said, very, very famous sloka that we have been highlighting again and again, Kalir Doshini De Rajan. With time, with circumstances, our potencies as human beings also produce. Like in Satya Yuga, people live for a very long period of time, and their body shape, like if you just put our Praman science into being, like evolutionary, from big kind of humans, we became to Homo sapiens, small little humans, right? So similarly, the people in the Satya Yuga were big with better capacities. So similarly, this capacity to hear changed into Smriti. So what is this Smriti? When the great sages, they hear, or they completely hear, and what they do, they internalize, they put it inside, they apply it. And then what they do, they compose back, they write back, they compose back, and they have their own realization added to it. That is Smriti. Because everybody cannot understand things as it is. You know, some people have higher intelligence, some people have lower intelligence. So for everybody, this Vedic knowledge was provided. Like, for example, we have A for apple, but there will be a time when the child actually progresses from A for apple to A for alpha. Then A from alpha to drugs like A for atropine or A for aeronautics. So that is a basic upgradation of knowledge. So similarly, we have two division in Vedic knowledge. One is Shruti, one is Smriti. Shruti means hearing as it is, the exact dialogue, exact words of the Lord, and we have Smriti. In Shruti, we have the Upanishads, we have the Puranas, we have many things. Similarly, in Smriti, we have the historical books like Mahabharata, and many other things like Samhitas are there in Shrutis. So this is a division. We need not go in depth. We just need to understand. And why am I talking this is that because we will be talking about Bhagavad Gita. And what is Bhagavad Gita? You know, Bhagavad Gita, we are actually very much benefited because Bhagavad Gita is a combination of Shruti and Smriti. Because the Lord himself is also speaking. Like there are 700 slokas. Out of the 700 slokas, 574 words are the exact words of Lord Krishna, and 84 by Arjuna, 41 by Sanjaya, 1 by Dhritarashtra, and so on. That we'll be talking in later discussions. So that is the reason we come to the conclusion that there is Shruti and Smriti. And we have the opportunity to get association of such books. In the next slide, next slide. Yes. So here we see that by reading, by associating with such great books, great personalities have actually successfully found the aim of their life. So next slide. Here the glorification of Vedic knowledge has been done basically. So we come to the next slide. Yes, now we see great personality, the supreme personality, Lord Krishna, and his dear friend Arjuna. So here it is said that for Kali Yuga, a yuga full of falls, there are two very important saviors. What are they? They are Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavat Purana, or Srimad Bhagavatam. So now, since now we are very much convinced that the Vedic knowledge is the complete knowledge, now let us talk about Gita. Gita Athava Gita Upanishad. Now we write Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. And the choice that we have made so far is the best choice because it's a complete science. Unlike the science that we had been having full trust and blindly trusting, which had many defaults, this science is spoken by the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is perfect. And at the same time, we hear about Gita Upanishad from great people, the great personalities. Like you see, even among the personalities in today's world, you know, like Albert Einstein, like Mahatma Gandhi, these great personalities, they were also taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita. If you are able to read the quotes of Mahatma Gandhi, he said that whenever I feel low, whenever I'm not able to make right decision, I used to take help of Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna, in coming days when we read Bhagavad Gita, will come across this statement. It says that when great personalities does any action, it is followed by others. So these great personalities, they're not less important. Albert Einstein did a lot of contribution to the society. Mahatma Gandhi did a lot of contribution to the society. And what they have done, they have also referred Bhagavad Gita. So why we not? Why should we not, right? So similarly, now in the next page, we'll see some more great personalities. Here we have great personalities, great acharyas, the great teachers of this Vedic knowledge. And since they took shelter, unlike the other personalities, unlike the great other personalities, which we'll see in the next page, can we just skip to the next slide? Yes. Here we have great personalities. They are not less. They are great personalities. They have achieved so much with their knowledge, with their endeavor. So much they have done. But what they have failed to do is that they did not take the shelter of the supreme manuals like Bhagavad Gita. So, and also their knowledge was based on their imperfection. So therefore, the question comes to you all. The question is in the next slide. आप किसका अनुसरण करना चाहते हैं? What is your choice? So can anybody say what their choice is after all of this discussion? What would be your choice? You still want to go to a person who has imperfect senses and imperfect knowledge, or you want to add on to your imperfect knowledge a sip of perfection and complete your knowledge? Anybody could say from the audience, what is their take?
The second one, of course.
Thank you so much. Of course, the second one. So since we're about to end with the session, I would like to repeat, just like these great personalities, Albert Einstein, they also glorified Bhagavad Gita. So there are also great personalities, which you will read in Bhagavad Gita in coming days. They have also glorified Bhagavad Gita. And if we will be able to share the glorification of Bhagavad Gita, our convincing power increases more. And that will give birth to this very beautiful bird known as faith or Shraddha. I said, Gita Sastram idam punyam ya pateta prahata puman, which means if we properly follow the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all the miseries. Like yesterday we said, the 4 kinds of misery, the 3-fold misery, the 4 problems, birth, old age, death, disease, will be free from this. This is the realization of great personality. Not only this is one of the famous slokas, which says, Sarvopanishado gavo dokta gopalanandana parto vatsaha sudev bhokta dokadam gitamrita maha. Now let us understand what is this. It said the first time says, this Gita Upanishad, Sarvo Upanishad, out of all the Upanishads, like yesterday I said, there are 4 Vedas, there are 108 Upanishads, there are 18 minor and major Puranas. So out of all these Upanishads, Gita Upanishad is the essence. Like for example, a flower. A flower is known not just for its beautiful petals, but is known for its fragrance. So the essence of the flower is its fragrance. Similarly, there is so many Vedic scriptures, so many big books. We can finish off the big books as well. But if we are able to get hold of the essence, then it all makes sense. It's a completion of all our endeavor. Similarly, Gita Upanishad is the essence of all Upanishad. And here, very beautiful personification is being made here. Dokada Gopalanandana, which means this Gita is just like a cow. It's just like a beautiful, innocent cow and merciful cow. And there is someone, there's a great personality, Lord Krishna, who is what? Who's known as cowherd boy. Again, who's famous, known as cowherd boy. And what is he doing? Cowherd boy is supposed to take care of the cow, is milking the cow. But can you imagine milking of a cow without a calf? No. Without a cow doesn't, milking process cannot be done. So the Arjuna, dear friend of the Supreme Lord Krishna, is acting like a calf. And now the question is, okay, there is a cowherd man, there is a calf, there is a cow, the milking is going on. Now what do we do with the milk? Now the milk is for whom? Is for students like us. And it's actually, we can come to that state But here it is represented as learned scholars. You all will also be learned scholars, because Krishna, he himself says, only the intelligent person will take this Yuga Dharma of Bhagavad Dharma, not anybody else. Less intelligent cannot accept it because it's way too simple. So it will not be accepted. So you all are very intelligent. So learned scholars and personalities who love Krishna. And those personalities who actually possess love for Krishna, they are known as devotees. So the devotees and the learned scholars, they are ready to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. It's amazing. It's amazing to hear such beautiful expression by great personalities that basically boost our conviction in the choice that we have made for Bhagavad Gita. And another very important thing, nowadays, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada said that everybody is looking for one thing, one book, one dharma, one religion, one God. Yes, we have it. The Shastras clearly said long back. We didn't have to cry out for this. It is saying, Ekam Sastram Devaki Putra Gitam, Eko Devako Devaki Putra Eva. It is saying, Ekam Sastram. Out of all the Shastras, Bhagavad Gita is the sum, is the best, and is the sum, is complete. If you have Bhagavad Gita, that's it. And along with this, one God. Who is this God? Devaki Putra. So, Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva, which means the son of Devaki Ma, Lord Krishna. If you worship him, that's enough. You don't have to go for other big things, other complicated scenes. And he said, there are so many mantras, like you will also come across, there are so many people reciting so many mantras. But he said that in this yuga, just like COVID has a Covishield as vaccine, particular Covishield. Similarly, this Kali Yuga, which is full of false, now I will complete the sloka that I was saying yesterday. Kaler doshe nide rajan. Oh, my dear prince, this Kali is full of all false. But astihi eko mahaguna. Out of this also there is one. Just like we have problem, we have a solution. Similarly, out of so many false, there is one solution to it. What is it? Kirtanat eva krishnasya. Mukta sangha param brajet. You will get rid of all the problems just simply by worshipping Krishna. And how do we worship Krishna? In the beginning of our class, we're singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simple. Chant this mantra, that's enough. And worship Krishna, that's enough. This is the words of Shastra. This is the authority of Shastras. And this is the secret and key to happiness. The great personalities have accepted it and they made their life successful. So the choice of choosing Bhagavad Gita, is it worthwhile or is it not? I want a reply from the audience.
It is worthwhile.
Thank you so much. So with this, we come to the end of the session. So now we have built our conviction and our faith towards Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow we will be dealing with the first important topic, that is, who am I? Who am I as to? Now we understood, okay, we have a really great book here in front of us. The great personalities have said so many big things about Bhagavad Gita. Now, the question is, now let us find answers, right? 2 days suspense, the third day, the suspense has to be cut off. So tomorrow we'll be talking about as to who we are. And not just that, if we know who we are, we should also know who made us. That's an intelligent question. Okay, I understood what I am. Now I should know who made me. And okay, this personality made me. But what is my relationship with him? I have to know that. So that questions will be entertained. That questions will be discussed tomorrow in our session. So with this, I end my discussion here. So before ending, we have this very beautiful Vedic lines. Like yesterday I said, each of us, like Prahlad Maharaj says, in each of our heart, there is Paramatma Rupi Bhagavan. Okay, God is so powerful. God can be outside, God can be inside. Like me, I'm here, but I cannot be there. I have to be here either or I have to be there. So we're limited. But God can be anywhere, at any time, at same time. So the God in you and God in all of us, saying thank you to the Supreme Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. We actually beg for forgiveness, and at the same time, we beg for the mercy by saying this mantra. Because the Book of Wisdom says that God is really merciful. God is so great. But greater are his devotees. Greater are the teachers who teaches us about the greatness of the Lord. So that's what we are saying in this mantra. We are begging for forgiveness, and at the same time, we are praying for their mercy. So with this, I end the sessions. It's 12:38. Any questions? We can have question and answers now, or we could write in WhatsApp as per your convenience. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being such a cooperative audience.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for being for the session, the whole session. So if you have any question, you can ask, because yesterday we have taken it for so long. Question answer no. But today Mataji is waiting. So agar कसैको question छ, हजुर chat box मा सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ. नभए डाइरेक्ट अफलाइन गएर आफूलाई अनम्युट गरेर सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ. Yes.
I have one question.
Yes. For ask.
Hello.
Yes, you can ask to Shweta Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah, she is hearing.
No, I have no idea about anything about this Bhagavad Gita. Though I have little knowledge only about the Mahabharata and all that. I want to ask if going through all this sloka deeply and thoroughly, one can have a peace of mind or not, because that's the most important thing, I guess, in order to live a happy life. So we'll get this peace of mind or not?
Wow, that's an amazing question. So for the answer to your question, it's an absolute yes. Because I don't know whether you actually had the session yesterday or not. Even if you missed, we have a recorded version of it, so you can go back. Because we had an in-depth discussion on the various kind of problems. Like you say, we don't have peace of mind, irrespective of how much ever happiness we have. So the answer to this is that clearly the great personalities have said, Gita Sastram idam punyam ya pateta prayata puman. If one seriously follows, just like we said, you know about Mahabharata, you want to know about Bhagavad Gita, and you want to seriously study it. So if you actually follow the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, you can be freed from all miseries. And miseries purely means lack of peace of mind. And you will have peace of mind by reading Bhagavad Gita. It's an absolute yes. Thank you so much for your question, Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Poonam Mataji. So, anyone want to ask? अरु कोही सोध्न चाहनुहुन्छ प्रश्न सोध्न बहुत अनिवार्य छ. नेपाली पनि सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ, नो प्रब्लम. हजुर जुन ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा कम्फर्टेबल हुनुहुन्छ हजुर सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ, हजुर लेख्न नि सक्नुहुन्छ. च्याट बक्समा हजुर लेख्नु नि सक्नुहुन्छ.
अब सिन्स सोध्नु भएको छैन अनि अलिकति समय छ त अब हामीले सोध्नु पर्ला जस्तो छ है. Anita, let's summarize. हामीले आज के गर्यौं है. So first, what did we talk about? Can Ishmita tell me what are the 4 defects that we have? Smita Mataji is here. Shayad hununna ala. So
You want to volunteer?
Okay, someone can volunteer as well. Anybody?
Yeah, Smita, she is replying by chat box.
Okay, that's amazing.
Cheating, mistake, cheating, yes. And 2 more.
Okay, two is good.
Illusion.
Next.
Yeah, illusion.
Yes.
1 more.
Okay, fantastic.
Limited
Thank you
senses.
so much.
Yeah.
We could not hear your sweet voice, but yes, we had your answer. Then we did talk about what would be the best idea to ask who my father is. What would it be an intelligent person asking to? To whom?
To ask
Sushma?
your mother.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. That's okay. Then we dealt about Vedic knowledge and its branch. What are the two branches?
Yeah.
What are the two branches of Vedic knowledge?
Shruti and Smriti.
Shruti and Smriti.
Thank you so much. Okay. So we also dealt about this. Okay, can anybody say how many slokas did Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita?
574.
Yay, amazing. And
700.
total. Okay, that's amazing. 700 total
700.
slokas. Yeah, and for the
Total
record,
is 700 and 574 is spoken by the Lord.
yeah, amazing. So maybe if you don't have any question, you could give me a positive feedback and a negative feedback so that I could make corrections for tomorrow's lecture, whether it's too lengthy or whether I'm too fast or whether it's okay, so that I could know and understand the audience and serve you more. Maybe anybody could give a feedback.
You can just write in the group the sense of Bhagavad Gita which we have created. You can write in that group what we are lacking to serve you. And the quiz box is open. Please go and participate to be the winner of tomorrow's. Thank you so much.
Okay, so with this, we end this session. Thank you so much for being so cooperative and alive throughout this session. We'll pray that we are together for more days and for more timing. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Sweta Mataji, for giving such a wonderful session. It was so clear. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, all the audience, all the participants, for listening to us. And tomorrow we will wait for you all. Please be on time and please be regular to this session. Agar हजुरले regular सुन्नु भयो भने हजुरले बुझ्नुमा हजुरलाई सजिलो हुन्छ, skip भयो भने हजुरलाई साह्रो पर्छ. हामीले यसको recording पनि गरेको छौं. अगर केही problem भएर हजुरले attend गर्नु सक्नु भएन, त्यसको link हामीले share गरेको छौं. YouTube मा हाम्रो यसको session को भिडियो छ, हामीले ग्रुपमा नि हालेको छ त्यो लिंक. हजुर त्यसबाट गएर हजुर हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Poonam Shetri Mataji. Thank you, everyone.